We are live. Welcome back to the James McGee Show. I am your host. I am James McGee, and look who is back with us. Candace is back from her hiatus, from her vacation.
I'm not as tan as I should be, but
where were you? Yeah, she was in
I was
Florida,
in Disney.
Mexico. You should be a lot more tan.
A lot tanner. I don't know. It just washes off in the shower. I don't know what it is. I got bad melanin.
And Pappas from One More and I'm out of here. Welcome both of you. So we're going to dive into this. I hope y'all, first off, I hope everybody is having a good new year. We got a lot to cover. I want to dive into this, and we didn't have a lot of time to talk behind, so I don't know what y'all's answers are. So I'm gonna ask a question, yes or no, and then we'll dive into it. Yes or no to each of you. Is what's going on in Minneapolis an insurrection?
Yes.
Pappas.
Oh,
what happened? What happened?
The Lord silenced him.
Pappas, we can't hear you.
Move it around.
Probably unplug it.
There, how's that?
There it is.
Right.
There he is.
Pappas, is what's going on an insurrection?
No, I don't think it's an insurrection. I think it's, and I understand why you would say that it is, but I'm not going to play into what they want us to do. I think that if it were I would continue to just do what you're doing. No, to the best of my knowledge, you correct me if I'm wrong. And James, you might have a soft place in your heart because you're a former police officer, but you're in law enforcement. But has any law officers been hurt other than the guy that got hit by the car? Has anyone been hurt yet? Law enforcement?
Probably every single day, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, seriously hurt.
Seriously hurt.
Well, to be fair, are we just saying ICE or are we saying PD? Because the PD is nowhere to be found. Because they're not allowed
right now, I'm saying ICE. Right now, let's just stick to ICE or
no. I'll answer your question. I'll answer that with saying no, but okay. But go ahead and finish your point. Then I'll respond to that because I definitely have some.
So if they can continue, in my opinion is if they can continue to do their roundups. I heard they caught a. Did you guys see the video of the officer warning? And I like how they call themselves legal observers now, rather than just agitators and anarchists. But she was like, lady, we're down there, we're down the street, you're harassing us, you're honking your horn, and we're trying to catch a child predator. Okay. They're trying to catch the worst of the worst. And these frickin' sanctimonious liberal, mostly, for all I've seen, mostly white women that have nothing more than time on their hands, that are getting no love at home. They're interfering with that. And the lady, I think what she realized that I just heard a little pause in her voice, like, oh, well, I didn't know. Well, what the fuck do you think they're doing? So to answer, getting back to your original question, if they can continue to do these roundups, I see they moved the time up. They started like at 8 o'clock on a Sunday, and most of the derelicts are sleeping off a bender. But if they can continue this level of apprehension and roundups and keeping themselves safe, I would say I don't want to see it declared an insurrection. I don't want the Insurrection Act invoked, and I would prefer not to have National Guard troops moved in there, because I think that's what they want, and I don't want to see us fall into their trap.
I can see your point. That is fair. Okay, let me ask you this. Do you feel like Tim Walz, Ilhan Omar, and this butt-fuck clown Jacob Fried, do you feel like they are committed?
Can you believe he's married? I mean, he's got a wife.
To a dude? No, you said wife.
That guy's got a wife.
Candace,
I mean, I thought
Candace, none of your kids can hear, right?
No.
Okay. Pappas, look, I'm not saying the guy's gay, but I think the Somalian dudes are fucking the shit out of it.
Absolutely.
Saying.
They love that shit.
I'm just saying they are jumping around in the man's booty hole. There's not a man's man that moves the way that he does, and he does nothing but suck these Somalians off, man. He is constantly jock riding them. Okay, well, let me ask you this. Do you feel like they're committing treason with the things they are doing?
I saw that the Minnesota House introduced articles of impeachment against Tim Walz today, I think it was. And I am fine with that. Do I think it's treasonous? Yeah, I mean, I could see that. I can see it's a dereliction of their duty, and I could see that it could be called treason. As I said before, I always look at, I mean, what I want to do and what you should do are two different things, right? I mean, what I would like to do, personally, you know what? Let ICE protect themselves. Here's why I say this. Let ICE continue to do their job. You protect ICE. Don't bring in for national order. Don't federalize the troops of the law enforcement, and let the place go to hell. I mean, let it burn. I could give two shits about Minnesota. I don't really care about Minnesota anymore. I mean,
they're like California in my book.
Well, they are. And I know that it's a state, people are upset when I say that, because it is a state that was really like 51-49. It was winnable. I mean, it was within the, it was very close, but the simple fact of the matter is this is for them to clean up. Elections have consequences. And if you keep electing people like, or if you allow to be elected people like this mayor and people like this governor, then you know what? They should feel the, I don't think it's the job of the federal government there to come clean that shit up. Let them go to hell in a handbasket, live in a shithole.
I agree, but let's watch this, and then I'll comment on that.
Number of police officers that we have to fight ICE agents on the street, to stand by their leaders.
Some of you may die.
Do you see a problem with that?
Sacrifice. I am.
Yeah, I do. But like I said before, the one thing they're going to want, look, I don't understand. I mean, these people that have nothing better to do than wake up every day and decide what cause we're going to protest today, and then they show up. And Candace, do you guys have you had any protests around you up there?
No, but I have seen. I have seen. Well,
I guess
they try to organize stuff. Yeah, it's too fucking cold and it's snowing. They try to organize shit, and it's been small and it's in like surrounding towns. But what I see the most of is people that I know of on Facebook that will post like, "Oh, heard ICE is here" or something like that to try and rabble rouse. And I just want to say,
conservative area.
It is. I consider us purple.
Okay.
Oh, you're purple.
We're a little on the purple side.
Okay.
Depending on where you go, and it's like close proximity, you can go to a real red place or you can go to a real blue place. So that's why it's very mixed reviews when somebody says that shit locally. But what I will say is Mr. Josh Shapiro, while he is vocal, he's not as vocal as Tim Walz and the mayor there. And I feel like you can really see how complicit they all are in Minnesota for all of the propaganda. They're absolutely the ones that are initiating propaganda, and that's what the public there is getting so much of. You don't really get that here, even though we're not set up for success with Mr. Shapiro. There's still small amounts of propaganda. And when you see it on like some of the local news pages, the commentary is right on par. It's not, you're not seeing a mix. You're seeing like more conservative people saying, no, it's bullshit. No, it's bullshit. And so I think this area is a lot harder to circulate that type of propaganda. A place like Minnesota has already showed us that they're willing to accept it, especially in Minneapolis. And sorry, I'm going to like word vomit here, but Philadelphia, I don't know if you guys saw this, where the sheriff, I don't fucking know her name, something Sharon.
Yeah, we covered that big fat 24 sandwich.
Yes,
last show.
DEI at its finest. Okay, she's shooting her mouth off.
Self-admittedly proud DEI.
Absolutely, and she shot her mouth off, and then everybody else in the Philadelphia leadership was like, no, we follow, we follow enforcement, we do this, that, and the third, and they were really like distancing themselves from her. So that was another kind of nugget of like, all right, Philadelphia isn't as radical as fucking Minneapolis, which is wild that I can even say that.
Well, something maybe you may not know is the sheriff in Philadelphia has really zero law enforcement duties.
Mhm.
They have 300 employees as opposed to the 6,000 Philadelphia city policemen. The sheriff's responsibilities in Philadelphia are courtroom security and civil process serving.
Right.
And so that's what they do. So they went and found her because she was probably the only one that would stand with them and say ridiculous things. Because probably the Philadelphia police chief was like, "Man, get out of here! I'm not standing with this mess." So So my opinion here, I'm gonna agree.
Answer the question, James. You didn't answer it yet.
I'm gonna agree with both of y'all.
Well, you can't do that.
Yeah, I can't. No, hear me out.
Because I'm better
Hold
looking.
on. I'm not. I'm a lot. But I can't agree with both of y'all. I do feel like what is going on is an insurrection. But I agree with you, Pappas. I don't feel like we need to invoke the Insurrection Act. I don't think that. I don't think we give them what they want. But what they're doing is absolutely an insurrection. Now, Pappas, do you feel like what you just heard from Jacob Fry? I know we have First Amendment, but there comes a responsibility
when you're in elected office.
You're in elected office,
responsibility.
Incendiary,
exactly.
inciting riots.
Yeah, absolutely.
What him and Tim Walz is doing and their passive aggressive bullshit is driving me insane.
It's unbelievably how
I'm gonna play Walz,
and it's such gaslighting though too.
That's
it's
all it is.
complete void of reality.
Well, they're saying, be peaceful. No, they're not.
No. And it's like they did that. So Fry came on after the whole situation with Renee Good. Then he came on with this message of we can't stand for that. And then it was like 3 days later, it was like, but we need to be peaceful. Like bullshit. You're a little too late to that type of group to say anything about peace because that wasn't what you've been portraying since this has started.
Well, it's gaslighting. It's passive aggressive. It's, he gets up there and I'm going to play a video of him in a little bit, but he gets up there and talks about, they're kidnapping people, which is a lie.
False.
They're detaining and arresting American citizens, which is a lie. But hey, we want you to be peaceful. We don't want you to do these things. It's a subliminal message that he's sending out. He's not that smart, Pappas. I mean, the guy is about as dumb as a box of dicks.
Well, but the problem is that he's using this opportunity. I mean, do you find it coincidental that as soon as the stories of the fraud in Minnesota really started to gain some
that's
traction,
all it is.
Thank you.
All of a sudden, this shit blew up. Now, don't get me wrong. The lady dying, I'm not going to say her name because honestly, I don't give a shit. And people are saying, well, how can you be so callous? Listen, we're not going to rehash that, but you put yourself in a situation like that and something bad happens. That's like saying if my fat ass was to go skydiving and I was to plummet into the earth and cause a frickin' crater, you know what? It would be a tragedy.
I still feel like that's different though.
No, it is. But I mean, you know what I'm saying? You're putting yourself in a situation and you are responsible for your own actions. And she became responsible when she went and threw that car from reverse into drive and hit the gas. And why did you hurt the earth? That's nice. But I mean, at the end of the day, so she was responsible for that. So I'm not being callous there, but she accepts her responsibility. But at the end of the day, if that had not happened, I think there would still be, even though that was the catalyst for all of these quote unquote protests, which are organized. It was a gift. It was a gift. But at the end of the day, I think these protests would still be happening in Minnesota, maybe not with the veracity that they're happening now. Where I'm having a problem is I'm arguing. Now, as you know, I was in the Tea Party. Maybe you don't know, Candace, but I was in the Tea. I still am.
Figures.
I'm a Tea Party person.
Figures. And then at the end, and now I'm, a Republican, and also I still hold to my Tea Party principles that I believe in. But, we're friends. I'm friends with a lot of libertarians. And where I'm having a problem is that your libertarians and even some conservatives are having a problem with, they say, well, ICE should not be there. We shouldn't be doing these things. And I have a question I'd like to throw out to you guys, and we haven't discussed this. But look, Joe Biden let 20 million unvetted people into this country over 4 years, many of whom are documented to be violent and criminals from prisons from other countries, especially Venezuela. And my question is, they're like, this is a violation of the Fourth Amendment. You shouldn't be asking people for their papers. You shouldn't be stopping people, making them prove their citizenship. We are in, and don't get me wrong, I do understand that sentiment, and I can understand that feeling, but how in the world do we unring or fix this problem without taking not necessarily extraordinary, but strong steps? You can't just be like, it's always been, well, we'll just round them up and we'll catch them when they break the law. How about you tell Lake and Riley's family that? I mean, we are in, all of this mess was, in my estimation, purposely created by the Democrat Party, by Joe Biden, because they knew this shit would be a mess. Oh, well, that's what they're saying, not me. So just hold it, Tyler. It's not me saying it. But, at the end of the day, this situation was created purposefully. And now, and to be fair, Donald J. Trump was elected on the premise that he was going to clean this up and arrest and try to round up these illegal aliens. But I mean, it's just, it drives me crazy. I ask, how do we then clean it up if we don't have a strong ICE presence or an ICE response? And I'll throw it out to you guys. I mean, are you getting that from some people? I mean, I'm getting it from some. I'm also getting, hey, I support ICE fully. They take their lives on the line every day. They're being doxxed. People are like, why are they wearing masks? You know why they're wearing masks? Because we have citizens in this country that thinks it's cool to publish their identities, where they live, where their family lives. And let's face it. How many leftists does it take to convince one nut job to go over there and do something stupid to somebody's family and house?
Well, that's what I would even, the people that are saying that they don't support this are people that are buying what the left is trying to sell them. And I think it's a bunch of bullshit. I do not think ICE is rounding up people that are not citizens. I think that whoever is running to the news and saying, oh, they detained me and I was a United States citizen, later on, we find out that they weren't. Or they do this whole permanent residency status, yet they were not doing what they were supposed to by maintaining proper contact information or maintaining even a proper stream of contact with ICE and in immigration in general. So I think that is a bunch of bullshit, because you know what? The left also said that my husband has to worry because he's a little darker, and nobody's fucking came and got his ass yet. Okay. Yeah. My father-in-law is a legal immigrant. I have numerous legal immigrants here. None of them
been hiding out. Bill hadn't been hiding out.
None of them have been asked for identification. None of them. None of them have been approached by ICE in any way, shape, or form. But here's the thing: if you are somebody that is in a area that ICE is breaking people up and arresting people, and you are along with those people that are being arrested as part of an open investigation, they have the right to ask you who you are. It's like anything else. If I am in a car with somebody getting pulled over that's doing something illegal, they will ask me for my identification.
Well, that's where your libertarians will say it's a violation of your Fourth Amendment, because they're like, and I'm not saying pulling them over for a violation, but like, let's just say you're walking down the street or you're somewhere and someone says, okay, do you have prove you're a citizen? Do you have do you have your driver's license? Whatever. I mean, personally, I just walk around with my driver's license.
Exactly.
And my passport. But I'm like, and to me, I'm like, well, I can see your point. Like, papers, please. Have you ever seen that? Papers, please.
Right. But that's not happening. It's not happening.
That's another lie.
Not fucking happening.
That Walls is saying about the papers. That's a complete lie.
It's a lie.
Right. And the other thing is, let's just say, for example, that if you're in an area where there's there's a portly dude that is unshaven and graying, and might be an illegal or an illegal immigrant, right, or an illegal criminal. Mm-hmm. And I'm walking down the street. I kind of fit the description. Mm-hmm. And the guy says, hey, can I see your driver's license? I personally am not going to get too bent about that. I'm not going to get on my libertarian horse and be like, how dare you, you're offending me, blah, 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 because we're living in extraordinary times. We have just suffered through 4 years of no borders. And you know what? I mean, I hate to say it. I do understand that it's a step towards, maybe totalitarian-esque government type thing, but how else do we clean up this garbage that's been going on? How do we get these people that can very easily live in the shadows?
But isn't it funny, because they support things like the IRS? Why can't we just do the honor system? Tell me where to pay, when to pay, and that's what I do. But instead, you have federal agencies that come and send me letters every 5 fucking minutes. They want my entire bookkeeping. They want every single penny I've made and a recording and accounting of it. And they sure as shit want every single form of identification I have. So we're okay with that. But when it comes to making sure that we're safe and making sure that we're undoing some of the radical things like open borders that have been implemented for years, then all of a sudden it's like, oh no, we can't have our driver's licenses on us. That's unacceptable.
Well, I did post something today. I said, it's funny, the very people that are bitching and moaning that you might be asked to show your driver's license,
right,
were the same people that said you can't leave your house unless you have vaccine papers.
Right.
I mean,
they wanted to put us in camps. You guys remember that shit? There was a blueprint for a camp in California, a COVID camp, and everybody was like, they should be there. They should be there. And you know what? They should not have insurance to pay for it because they're choosing not to get vaccinated. That's and then right. These people are now saying, how dare ICE officers wear masks? That's rich as hell. And how dare we ask people for identification to make sure they're not a criminal and that they're here in this country legally.
5 years ago, they're making us wear masks.
Absolutely.
Oh, they let me tell you something. If you had, I could share with you articles that they would write in the paper because we didn't wear masks in my business. First of all, dry cleaner is about 180 degrees. But secondly, I was like, and they're like, Trustee Pappas's business was cited again by the city. And I'm like, fuck you. You people are going to tell me to wear a mask. You know what? But yet now they're the same ones. ICE can't wear a mask. Well, I'm sorry. If you could if you were able to vouch for every liberal Democrat or liberal, I'm not even going to say that they're all Democrats because some of them are just flat out past Democrats, just socialist anarchists.
I don't think these people are Democrats at all. Truthfully,
the Democrat Party, let's be fair, Candace, the Democrat Party has been taken over by the socialist wing. I mean, Mondami ran as a Democrat and he's a socialist. So we have to acknowledge that. But at the end of the day, last I checked, and I'm not knock on wood, but most of the violence in this country, when I see shootings, attempted assassinations, they are pretty much coming from one part of the spectrum, and that would
be all coming.
The bullets are coming from one direction.
All.
And I mean,
every single one.
So if you are going to say, how dare they wear masks, then are you going to willing to pull your balls out and be financially responsible that if something happens to them or their family member, because you're posting where they live, right? And their whole family history and everything about their family. So then I say, if something bad happens, then you are allowed to be financially sued by them, their heirs, their family, and everybody else, and take you and everybody that suggested what you're suggesting.
These people have no money. What? They have no money.
I'm sure Tim Walz has money.
I'm sure. Oh, but he knows how to make sure it's all tied into his wifey poo. They know. They know what to do.
Let me tell you something. You notice you haven't seen old Turn the Page. You have not seen her out, have you? So the rumor mill. Here's the rumor mill, which I'm sure you probably heard. The rumor mill is saying that she found out that he had hidden a bunch of money from her and had it stashed away on the side and is pissed and is taking off and leaving him.
I didn't know
I'm
that.
Sure. Among other things, like maybe accessory to murder.
Well, he'll be fine, Pappas. He's got money. He'll find.
Or maybe she caught him. She might have caught him in a room with some of those Somalians.
That's what I'm saying. I think it might not be the money. I think it's probably his extracurricular activities with these Somali dinglings. It's going to be the problem. All right. Speaking of, now this is AI, but it was too funny not to share, so I had to share this one.
Oh, look at that dumb face.
If they've had riots going, they won't be able to concentrate on the fraud.
I can't go to prison. I'll come out wiping my ass with bed sheets.
You know what?
That's on par.
I had to play that one.
AI
Very
is
much so on board.
isn't it amazing? We talked about this on our show. Isn't it absolutely amazing? We've gotten to the point with technology, and this has been so amazing. This has been recent, right? Used to be you'd be able to see something and you knew you're like, oh, that's fake. You can't really do that anymore.
No, it's
No,
as real as can
no.
be.
It's as real as can be. So when someone shares these videos, you as a broadcaster, a podcaster, whatever you call it, we call ourselves, you've got to be very careful what you're sharing, pretending that or saying that something's real. You've got to check this stuff 5 ways to Sunday, because you can't believe your eyes or your ears. It's amazing where we've gotten to. What's it going to be in another year, 2 years?
Terrifying.
I don't know. Terrifying.
But I also think it's funny because Tim Walz, like, that fits the bill. But recently he's trying to, like, Wolf of Wall Street, like, I'm not fucking leaving. You know, like, he's trying to, like, assert his dominance in his role. And, you know, no matter what calls for resignation, he's made it clear that he is not resigning and that he's going to continue to serve the rest of his term. And I think it's funny because absolutely behind the scenes, he is crying hysterically and he is freaking out because I don't know how much more of this you can hide, especially your involvement when you had numerous Democrats and Republicans alike who took to that hearing and said Tim Walz had prior knowledge of all of this. I don't know how you hide from that.
You hide from it by creating. You hide from it by creating this false, this distraction that we're going through right now,
Exactly.
and that's been maintained by people that are paid. You cannot convince me that the core group of these protesters are not financially compensated by the Tides Foundation or George Soros. We've seen evidence to that, and I'm not saying all of them, but let's be fair here. It doesn't take, all you need are 4 or 5 key people. James, you know this. 4 or 5 key people can whip up a crowd into quite a frenzy and create quite a disturbance. Correct. So, I saw out near us here at a defunct yesterday at a closed Big Lots, which is a retailer that was on a lower end. But anyway, they closed down and they had a poster out. And this is on the east side of Cincinnati in a different county that's very conservative, and they had the fist up, and the poster said gathering for an anti-ICE protest, blah 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 blah. And they probably had, I don't know, 20 30 people out there. But I would say of those 20 30 people, all it takes is 4 or 5 people committed to the cause, that do this 24/7, that are compensated for their time, because most people don't have the life to be doing this 24/7. They have to provide for their or make sure their welfare check is coming in or whatever else. But I mean, it is just not, you cannot tell me that this is an organic. I think it is not organic. I think a lot of these people are from out of the area. I think a lot of these people are paid protesters. And I think the general public is getting tired of it. What concerns me a little bit as a Republican, the midterms are coming up, and I don't.
We're fucked. Just forget it. Like, honestly, just forget it. I
appreciate that.
Seriously, as soon as all this came out, because you know what I've noticed, that at midterms in particular, first of all, this has been a constant, right? Every time we have a president, midterms come, everything gets unseated and the whole bullshit story goes. This is every single president.
Right.
I think me and Bill were talking about this, is what Obama, one term of Obama and somebody else was able to like keep something. I don't even remember. But in the history of like 100 years, it's been twice where they were able to keep everything. So it doesn't happen. And then you have people, what I've noticed, and everything that's happening in Minnesota really concretes this for me, is that people are not smart. Really, they are not intelligent enough to take a step back out of their emotions and say, okay, I understand this is happening in Minnesota because these people are emotionally driven and they're not understanding the factuality behind all of this. But let me actually look at my bank account, at how much it takes for me to fill up my gas tank, how my job is doing, what my credit card interest rates are doing, what's happening in my schools. Nobody's actually sitting down and having that conversation with themselves. Because let's be honest with you, okay, last year we were all told that we were going to have a recession, we were all going to be deported, we wouldn't be able to afford eggs or anything that would have a tariff on it, we'd never be able to have a lower interest rate on anything, and we would have World War III. And so I'm fucking confused, right, as to where all of that shit happened, because they were projecting that to have already been taking place. And yet, still, with all of the positive traction we have outside of shit that you see in Minneapolis, as to your credit, Pappas, who gives a fuck about Minnesota, Minneapolis, who cares? But people are dumb enough to forget all of that and just say, oh my gosh, this is just dangerous. And like, maybe we shouldn't be voting for this.
Did
And
you see? Speaking to that, you're at. Well, listen, you're 100. You're 1,000% right. Everything you just said, 1,000% right. You remember. Not always, but you remembered stuff I had even forgotten about. But at the end of the day, if you looked at this logically, we would be sitting pretty right now.
Absolutely.
But do you see? And the reason I blame. Mostly I blame the media, because most people don't sit on social media watching, what we're finding out. They don't sit on X, they don't sit on Facebook. They get home, they watch some stupid show like the whatever Candace watches, and
90 Day Fiance.
Right. And really deep.
Hey, that's a good way to understand immigration. Like, come on, people. I think more people should fucking see 90 Day Fiance and see what those people do to get legal status to come to the U.S. They'd have a change of heart.
But my point is, I saw. Did you see the reporting on the guy that got stabbed yesterday in Minnesota by the rioters?
No.
So it was. I mean, and I'm going to get the name wrong, but he was I don't know if it was the journalist Nick Santor or it was somebody. But wait. But the way the news is, every news title headline that I've seen, this guy, the person that was at the riot, is not famous, but he's a little more well known, and he was a former January 6th protester that had been pardoned by Trump, and now I think he's running for office for some position. But every headline is, instead of man stabbed in Minneapolis protest and by a mob, and he was rescued. I don't know how they rescued him, but I mean, he probably could have been very easily killed. And what they're saying is, James, you'd agree with that. A mob can do weird things. I mean, it doesn't take a lot of mobs can get really, they're not a predictable entity, but they're saying the headline is, former January 6th protester attacked by mob.
Oh, you talking about Joe? Yeah, Aaron, friend of mine. Yeah, Aaron, Jake Lang.
Jake Lang. Yeah. And so my point is that that's the way they did. So if somebody, it's almost like when you see that headline, half the people will be like, oh, well, he probably deserved it.
Right.
He was a January 6th protester. Was he not a human being? Does he not have the same rights as you and I?
That's the hypocrisy of the left that we always talk about, Pappas. And every day they wake up is January 6th. They can't get off.
One day. They've had January 6th like all fucking 2 weeks now. 2 weeks straight.
Yeah. For 5 years it's been January 6th, and that's all. Right. That's their. I've said this before. That's their dice roll dance. So that's the only thing that they have. Pappas, what are you doing?
I'm playing around with my settings. Just shut up.
Quit playing around. You know how you are with technology. Don't touch anything again.
I just took my camera down for a second.
So, but that's all they have. They have January 6th because, we have so much. We have all the rights, the BLM, and we have all this other stuff. That's all they've got. But
and that's what they do with anybody detained from ICE. That's exactly what they do. Oh, this person is a U.S. citizen. Oh, they were here they have a visa. But then it's like ... when you actually research the people, or you find out later there's more to this story, they don't actually put that out there.
No, so they don't correct the story ever. Right.
Exactly.
They never correct the story.
So everybody thinks that ICE is just rounding everybody up, but I mean, it's not true. It's
James,
not true.
Let me ask you another question. Somebody commented today that, and I saw this is on a CNN story, and they said, well,
legit.
Yeah, really. They said, well, ICE agents are only trained 47 weeks and police have much more experience. I was like,
47 weeks is a lot of training.
Well, maybe it was 47 days. I think it might
it's well,
I researched it, and they said it was like 1 or 2 instances. And now I was able to do a little, very little, because I was like, whatever. But I mean, ICE recruits people that usually have either former law enforcement or military background. They're not out getting
Typically.
I was just going to say that they're not getting a target worker and being like, hey, you're
Yeah,
going to go
typically
enforce
they don't.
immigration.
right.
And now,
although they need to hire a lot of people,
Mhm.
but I mean, my point is that that's their way of saying, oh, well, you know, we're not anti-police, we're anti-ICE because they're not trained. That's
No,
the latest thing from the left.
So I'm going to say that I don't have anything to back this up, with the exception of what is factual is 18 Minnesota police officers quit and went to work for ICE. So that's what the real people of Minnesota, the police officers, think
Yep.
of ICE. They went to work for them, and they don't want to work for these two clowns they're having to work for. There is probably, and a lot of agencies do this, especially during times like this. You know, back in the early 2000s after 9/11, when the air marshal program became real hot, they had an abbreviated training program. If you met such a criteria, if you had 10 years of law enforcement, you had this military. So if they're doing a 47-day sort of academy, what they're doing is they're confirming their training, their previous training. They have to have so much, you know, firearms and defensive tactics and law and all this other stuff. Then they're bringing them in those 47 days and teaching them, hey, this is how, you know, this is immigration law. This is how our agency operates. These are our policies. So I can see them doing that because they're getting, you know,
Streamlined at that point.
They're getting highly trained cops.
Right. There's no point to training somebody
But
again.
that's another one of the propaganda. So that's another. I'm glad you said that, because that's another one of Tim Walz's his propaganda. This is why I feel like he should be arrested, inciting a riot, because that's another one. He's saying these guys aren't trained. Well, it's a lie. Everything he has said is a lie. So there comes a point where I don't feel like you're protected by the First Amendment when you are knowingly and willingly deceiving the public to get your way. What he wants is everything that he says, and we'll play that video. Let's play that video, and then we'll talk about that, because everything he's saying he wants is what he really wants is the fucking opposite.
Mhm.
And everybody knows this. He has constantly proven, and he continuously, like you said, gaslights everybody. And it's enough. It's become now, to me, to where, because of the danger involved, it's criminal.
Absurd that we all have to be defending law and order, justice, and humanity, while also caring for our families and trying to do our job. So tonight, let me say once again to Donald Trump and Kristi Noem, end this occupation. You've done enough.
Oh.
Let me say 4 critical things to the people of Minnesota. 4 things I want you to hear as you watch the news and look out for your neighbors. First, Donald Trump wants this chaos. He wants confusion. And yes, he wants more violence on our streets.
It's a lie.
We cannot give him what he wants. We must protest loudly, urgently, but also peacefully. Indeed, as hard as we will fight in the courts and at the ballot box, we cannot and will not let violence prevail. You're angry, I'm angry. Angry is not a strong enough word. But we must remain peaceful.
Super angry.
Oh,
You are
yeah.
not
I'm
powerless.
terrified.
You are not helpless, and you are certainly not alone. All across Minnesota, people are learning about opportunities, not just to resist, but to help people who are in danger.
Oh,
Thousands upon thousands.
Okay,
of our-
Pappas, let's pause that.
that is crossing. You know, that is a.
Come on.
I
I'm
want to
not-
start with the fact that he said that it's confusing. I'm not fucking confused. Okay, like everybody is not confused. What is happening right now is exactly what should be happening. It's to this effect because of them, because of him. It's to this crazy level.
That's exactly, and I think he's got to be held accountable.
Well,
And I
that's,
think that
you know,
they
I
can-
hope I wish the lawmakers, and then, like I said, they did introduce articles of impeachment against him in the Minnesota House. I don't know the makeup of that, but do I think, like we talked about early on, and you know, Candace and I had different answers, but do we try to think a couple of moves ahead and say, you know what, I think that time will take care of this guy, whether the facts of the fraud in Minnesota lead back to his desk or not. If he steps down, at the minimum, he said he's not running again. We'll see if that sticks. But I think that let's see what happens. Let's not federalize this. Let's not declare an insurrection, quote unquote, insurrection act. I wonder if there's a way to do it, charge him for whatever it would be without actually federalizing the
I think you can. No, I agree with you. And okay, so can we agree on this? Can we agree that it's currently not an insurrection, but can we agree that Jacob Fry, Tim Walz, Ilhan Omar or inciting an insurrection?
Yeah, I would say that. I would say you could.
1000%.
I would say you could do that. I would not have a problem with that. And I don't think that would. I don't think that would play into what they wanted. I don't think you would be playing into their hands. That's my opinion.
No,
And I also agree with you too, because I think the biggest problem is, and this went back to getting rid of the filibuster, is that if we do it first, all bets are off. You know what I mean? And so it's if we do something like, okay, we're going to take on the Insurrection Act, it's Republicans doing it first. And that can go one or two ways. It could work out very well, or they could start using that shit furiously against us.
George Bush did it already. So George H.W. Bush did it in L.A. during their riots.
Mm-hmm.
And, at that time, I think most people, if you remember what was going on in L.A., most people, it wasn't seen as such a, that was just flat out chaos. That wasn't per se a political riot caused by anything Bush had done. Now, people are saying that, and this is not me talking, but some people are saying, a lot of this stuff is caused by Trump being the way he is, and ICE being as proactive as they are, as aggressive as they are in Minnesota, blah, blah, blah. The woman being shot obviously was the catalyst, but I do believe that this still would be going on because Minnesota, to be frank, I mean, it's a liberal dump. There's nothing else to do in the wintertime. It seems like them burn tires and stand out in March. Personally, now the judge ruled that they can't use, they're using too much tear gas, or they're, tear gas. You know what I do? I swear to God, I wouldn't even have, you say fire hoses, like bad connotations,
Soak them with water.
Just water.
Fucking let them turn to icicles.
Garden hose. You know what? Just garden hose. James is doing three things at once. Look at him. Look at him. He's multitasking. I'll take a decaf macchiato.
My son came in. He didn't know I was doing a show.
How dare him?
That's why you need your studio, buddy. You could lock that door and everything up.
I like it. I'm happy to.
He's getting ready He's getting ready as soon as we got 10 minutes to land, man.
I know, right? He's already done in his head.
So what he's really here for? Food is my gumbo.
Oh, you made some gumbo.
Oh, did I, Pappas? I don't know how I could ship y'all some gumbo,
buddy.
Oh God, that would taste terrible.
You're making me salivate. I haven't had.
I'm gonna tell you, gumbo. I've won pretty big gumbo cooking competitions here.
Now you were in Texas not too long ago.
I was in Texas.
You were in the Hill Country last week.
I was in last weekend. I was in Fredericksburg, Hill Country.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
Yes. That's wine country.
I don't know if it's wine country.
Oh, that was for your birthday.
Well, it is. Yes, it is. That's wine country, Pappas. Have you been? When's the last time you went to Fredericksburg?
I mean, look, it's everyone and their mother that puts some grapevines up somewhere says they got a winery. Okay. And I saw, by the way, I'll tell you this.
By the way, we have the best winery right by us. It is like top 10 in the country.
For us to come see you, because we love wineries.
Well, Candace, you've got to make sure that James brings that hat that he was wearing that I saw the picture of. I'll tell you what.
You like my hat?
If I see you wearing that hat in front of me, you might as well just.
What did it say? I don't remember.
It didn't say anything. But he deserved to get his ass kicked with that hat on.
I turned 55. That's an old man hat.
Did you do a backwards hat? Oh no!
I don't wear ball caps. It's
him and Kiefer have the same hat.
Oh, it's a happy hat.
No,
it's a Scully hat.
It's a gay hat. That's all I'm saying. It's a gay hat.
You think Tim Walz
so Tim Walz has a few of them.
You think Jacob Fry had one?
Hey, by the way, speaking of Landman, just on a side note, did you read the from 2 or 3 days ago, the latest discovery of the Permian Basin that they had?
No.
You know, that's where landman is
Yeah,
set,
exactly.
right?
Is. Yep.
And I don't know if you've ever been to Odessa, but there ain't a whole lot there.
Yeah,
Other than
I might
oil
have been
fields.
through it. Yeah, there ain't a whole lot to.
Ain't a whole lot there other than oil fields, but they just found, I want to say, a new reserve, undiscovered oil and gas, 1.6 billion barrel reserve, and then so many trillions of cubic feet of natural gas, just newly discovered in Texas.
That's awesome, man. That's
so you're going to watch Landman tonight, and maybe it'll be on there. Maybe it's you know what, I tell you, not to dive into the show, but Candace brought up the gay bachelor or some shit.
90 Day Fiance. There's
whatever.
Sometimes it goes a little cray.
Some shit. I don't know. But the Landman was a good show. Is a good show, but it just got a little silly. It lost me a little bit with the interaction between the daughter and the ex-wife. Got a little bit silly.
Season 2 is not what season 1 was, but I can tell you that I watched about 3 reels from today's,
and you're excited.
I'm very excited because I'm telling you, we have been season 2 has been disappointing, but from what I have seen from the reels that I saw, this is probably going to be the best show, including season 1. This is going to be
Candace, do you know why people like this show?
Well, now I saw the snippets of it on Fox yesterday about the battle of the pronouns.
Well, that's just the latest.
Yeah. That's
just the latest. I mean, the
yeah,
battle of the pronouns.
And there's like the pretty Sydney Sweeney-ish girl, and then there's like the
way to describe her,
transgender. I don't know who I am.
Hey,
I'm so sad.
She was a nice guy. She was a nice guy.
I bet she was.
It's
them are lovely.
Well, it's not only the pronoun bullshit, but there was remember how he described the view?
Yeah.
That was driving the car and described the view as, what was it, 4 pissed off liberal rich women bitching about something.
Yeah,
that's about right.
It is. I think the show,
4 millionaires bitching about millionaires. And they hate Trump. They hate you. They hate me. They hate everybody.
It's just a good
show. Said, but it's pretty funny.
I think it appeals to I think the show does a great job appealing to John Q. everyman. I just think it really does.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. All right. So Candace, give us something in closing.
I think it's all made up. Everything that we're seeing right now is all kind of a made up lie. And I think people are buying the lie, and that's what's swaying how they feel right now. And they're buying the whole, so many people are protesting. Oh my God, millions of people. They think it's millions. They think it's that, ICE is kidnapping people. We're just targeting Minnesota because we don't like Somalians. Like it's all of this made up stuff. And I think people need to take a second, and they need to take a deep breath, and they need to start looking at, okay, first of all, if Minnesota wasn't doing anything wrong, why is ICE there? The fact that ICE is as aggressive as they are there should tell us all we need to know. But I think people have to stop buying the lies, because it's all bullshit. Every single thing that they're trying to do is bullshit. It's never been proven. And if it was, again, I would have been deported by now. My husband would have been deported. My father-in-law would have been deported. My uncle would have been deported. None of us have I've never been approached by an ICE agent. Okay. My husband, he's brown, right? He's a brown man. Never been approached by an ICE officer. Never been approached by a police officer. Okay. I just got a $350 ticket in South Carolina for speeding, and they reduced it, no problem, to $75 because I called and I was nice. Okay. Where are we all being targeted here? I don't understand it.
You do know why Bill's not being targeted, right?
I don't know, because people are afraid of Arabs. I feel
following the fucking
don't fuck
law.
with the Arabs.
He's following the fucking law. He's not breaking the fucking law. I have very close friends who are American nationalists, who are one from Pakistan, 2 from Lebanon, and they don't get fucked with by anybody. You know why? Because they own legitimate, successful businesses who are not getting. They don't own Somali daycares. They own successful businesses who they came to this country, built their own business without any help from anybody. And you know what? Nobody's fucking with them. And you know what they are? They are brown as fuck.
There's legitimately, and that's
and nobody is fucking with them because they following the fucking law. So that's where My closing is, Pappas, give us some closing. Give us some Pappas. Give us some Pappas words to close with. Some Pappas insight.
So as you guys were closing, I remembered I just watched the apparently the protesters in Minnesota broke into a church and caused a bunch of disruptions today during a church service.
Oh.
How nice. Yeah.
And I got to be honest with you. I'm about at the end of my rope. I really am. The older I get, the less patience I got. And I don't.
But they're the victims. They're the victims.
You know, as soon I can't watch enough videos of these people being taken to the ground and then suddenly they're the victims. I don't like seeing people hurt. But at the end of the day, I think the American public, Candace is right. We're living in the matrix. This is fake. This is not millions of people. This is not organic. And, you know, I think most people have had it up to about here with this bullshit. Listen, I sit there and see these people, and they had a chant the other day while they were marching. This is what democracy looks like. Let me tell you something. You know what democracy looks like?
Thomas Jefferson would be pissed off if that's what they got from that.
Democracy looks like we have an election. The man ran on principles. The man ran on his points, and he's doing exactly what he said he was going to do. And the fact of the matter is, this is a democracy. What we're living in right now is democracy. What you're doing, like James and Candace both said, is you're bordering on flat out insurrection, because what you're doing is you're the petulant child throwing a temper tantrum because mommy didn't buy you the goddamn toy in the store, and you're sitting on the ground pounding your feet, pounding your hands, and I'm pretty much getting tired of it. And I think most of the people out there watching the show that are out there working every day, that don't have time to do this shit, that don't have time to take part in this garbage, are getting fed up too. And I hope to God it translates. Although Candace has a point, I think we're fucked. Thank you.
We are.
I'm sorry.
At the end of the day, we're fucked if the goddamn turnout is as low as it usually is. We're fucked. Get off the couch. Get engaged, get involved. If you're tired of this shit, take a stand and let them know this shit ain't going to happen, and this shit ain't going to be tolerated, and it's not going to be rewarded by, in the midterms, voting for some freaking freak that doesn't represent your values. That's it.
That's right. I love it.
Well, that's all we got for y'all tonight.
And I'm jealous as hell. You're going to go eat some goddamn.
I'm going to eat
good
gumbo.
I'm
going to eat gumbo and
you need
watch
a fucking grilled
Landman.
cheese.
Yeah. I'm eating gumbo, watching Landman, and drinking wine with.
You gonna have that gay hat on?
My family. I'm gonna put. I should have wore it tonight. It's cold. I should have wore it. I'm wearing it next week.
Oh, please don't.
So
please.
All right. Until so Tuesday morning, 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. I will not be live in the morning. Tuesday morning, Central Standard Time, 7 a.m. I will see you then. Until then, McGee, Pappas, and Candace are out.